All right, and
I
now
wonder if I could go. So you're saying I have to go to your Facebook
yep. So
and
I'm
then
going
share.
live right now to Facebook,
Okay.
and what you can do, choose where you want to go. I'm going to Facebook. Right now it's preparing to go to Facebook. And then what you can do is when you see it show up, you just hit the share button to wherever you want, and it should go. Only me. Public. Make sure it's public. I can tag you guys too. Let's see. Glasses. Kerry. And won't ever let me tag you, Shemane.
It won't let you type my name?
There we go. I can tag you now.
Well, she's got her name on there already. It's right below. Our names are already on there. Her name says, it says Charmaine.
Yep, it's Shemane, no R. But that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It happens all the time.
Shemane.
Yeah, it comes from the movie El Cid with Sophia Loren and Charlton Heston. And as a matter of fact, in that movie,
So your mother was a fan or something?
oh my God, yes, yeah.
I
think she thought I would turn out exotic looking, but
I like old movies.
Okay, I think we're live. We are. Okay, guys. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehon. So excited about this amazing time that we're in, and very appreciative of having two special guests here today. Shemane Nugent is with us, and also the amazing, legendary Kerry Cassidy, who I absolutely adore. And I've worked with both of these ladies a few times now. Known Kerry a bit longer, and but this is the first time these two are together, so that should be fun. And it's a definitely something really important to connect these two, because you'll, as you guys will see. The topic for today is, now what? Where are we? As you know, there have been a little bit of some current events that have happened, and you guys have seen the people who've been blocked on Twitter, and not only the people who are on Twitter who remained, they're getting their names taken off. There's so much stuff going on in the news, and then there's a whole lot that isn't going on the news. I just want to first start out and talk to you guys on the panel about what you're seeing and where you think we are. I have a few things to say too, but of course. And I had a dream last night with Trump, and I've only had a few dreams with him. This is what started it off for me in the beginning. Is I had this really powerful dream, and so yeah, welcome you guys, and whoever wants to go first, I'd love for you to jump in and just tell me any updates or anything that you're seeing.
go ahead, Kerry.
Well, there's obviously a lot going on. I sort of see things at some point from a little different perspective, because I kind of look at the long view. That tends to be my way. And so I'm not so caught up, although, I'm caught up with the information, but I don't see it quite the same, because as I say, I see it in context. If you look at the long view, then you're constantly seeing things in relation to other things that have happened, let's say, in history, and going back into the ages, not just recent history, not even the last 100 years. So what I see is a huge transition here on planet Earth. And I do want to say that the focus at times on certain individuals as being like the culprits of orchestrating events and so on is many times history will not bear that out, simply because those individuals have a smaller role to play than in reality they really are playing. But we or the mainstream really, and even the alternative at times, tends to focus on those players, like as I was saying in my update, I just did an update yesterday on everything. So some people will have heard some of the things I say here, but you know, a focus, let's say, on Obama. Well, Obama is a front man. It's not Obama who's really in charge, and Obama is not really as much of an orchestrator as the news media, whether it's mainstream or not, wants to make you think. And he was always a puppet. He was always under orders from Papa Bush, as they call him, who died, supposedly. Although they probably transferred his consciousness into a body, being the dark, satanic aliens that they are. So, you know, this is, you know, I'm looking at AI, I'm looking at a huge new world. And in many ways, people just catching up with where people like us already have been for years. So it's exciting. It's, you know, it's disheartening at times, but there's a lot of confusion out there. I think confusion is really the name of the game. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because confusion allows for veils to exist between sectors and people and so on. But clearly Trump has flown to Texas. That's all over the news. I think there's reasons for him doing that. I think he is being heavily guarded by a faction of the military that is with him. I believe there is a faction that is not with him. I think it's very interesting that, for example, they did get the, you know, laptops, I believe, from the White House. That's been rumored, that the you know, so-called break into the Capitol was handled by Antifa, was anticipated by Trump and team. And anyone who thinks otherwise, I have to say, is not really thinking clearly, because if I can anticipate that, then other, you know, you can always do that, you know, never underestimate people. Like if you can think of something, then they can think of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, most likely. That doesn't mean everyone's going to be intelligent enough to think of everything, but you know what I'm saying? In other words, we are unified in a way that we don't realize. So it's not necessarily we have to get unified. We just have to, the people that don't realize that we're one have to become conscious that we're one. So it's a consciousness process more than anything else. And so that's a lot of what the Trump team has been operating under, that premise of waking the consciousness of the side that is sleeping. And in my view, it's not been sufficient, what we've seen so far. There's possibly reason for that. You know, from my point of view, everything moves too slowly. People think it's moving quickly. It's like very slow, in like slow motion when I look at it. And just want to say that Nancy Pelosi calling to arrest Trump, calling to impeach Trump, and so on. I even heard, I get intel all night and all day. So my intel is saying that someone, I don't think I have their name right in front of me, and it's probably going back a bit. I'm going to look at my stuff here. Oh, Mitch McConnell is introducing impeachment paperwork to take place on to be signed prior to the 19th of January. So on the 20th, in theory, their henchman, Biden, who is a clone, so you have to kind of wrap your mind around, what does that mean that half of humanity, at least in the United States, have voted for a clone over a human? Half, and I know that the numbers are skewed because it's not half, it's whatever it is, but we really don't know for sure. And I know that the fraud is being exposed with the Italians, but that goes back to the Vatican and the base under the Vatican, which is reptilian, and so on. So I look again at the big picture, and these are the pieces that are falling into place that are showing you that this was known. Look, these players that are taking down Trump and have been trying to take him down really ever since he got in office are the same players that assassinated John F. Kennedy. So that's where we are. We're actually coming back around at a certain different position, but we're in a spiral. So as the spiral goes around, each time you come around to the same place, but you're actually either up a level or down a level, if you want to call, if you're going to devolve. So that's also what we're looking at. So I guess I've talked enough. I don't know, maybe there's plenty there for both of you to respond to.
Well, a couple things I'm just going to say, kept getting drawn to the Orwell 1984 situation, which has come up all over. Everybody keeps bringing that up. And honestly, I'd never read the book. I never watched the movie. So I looked into it. And as I was looking into it, I'm literally like looking into it, and up on the television comes up WW 1984 for Wonder Woman. But when I saw WW, I saw World War 1984. And this whole premise of 1984 is supposed to be about, where we're at, actually, of just being held hostage, and AI, and, communism, or some sort of takeover, or living in these prisons of, ideals and belief systems, and, and someone else taking control, and even being to the point where it's like, we don't even realize, that, because we're just so busy on TikTok and, playing Facebook games, no judgment, because we're using the platform, and thank you for that, because we can use it for good too, but not everybody is using it for good. It's to keep us all like distracted and happy and connected, and for they can monitor us, and everything's Big Brother, and also that we don't even know what's going on over here, sleight of hand, like don't look over here, and to give us this narrative of, just believe this, over and over with the Mockingbird, whether it's politics, the entertainment system, music, all the industries that they are controlling to keep in these tubes for us to lock into, and then our biofield creates from there. And they don't even need to do anything forceful, because we're all just like wearing our masks and sitting outside on a bridge fishing, totally complacent of like, this is fine, and it's not fine. For those who are awake, we know that that is not cool at all, and that there's way more bigger things going on. So the whole, the thing about Wonder Woman, I looked to see like, why did she pick, if you're going to do a part 2, which the first Wonder Woman is amazing. I mean, it was very empowering. I don't know if you guys saw it. Very prophetic. Yeah. I mean, I don't watch movies twice, but I watched it like 5 times. I bought it. Anytime I want to really like feel powerful, or like get a good, upgrade, that's a movie that I've gone back to. And but this second one was not good, and I was very disappointed the whole time. Me and my husband were like, what is happening? Like, but the lady who directed it, there is one really good part at the end where she talks about the truth, and the truth prevails, and there's nothing else but the truth, which is actually where we should be and where we are, and of us being able to, like you said, with all the disinformation, Kerry, and all the chaos, of being able to identify what is actually truth right now. I mean, this is so important, especially with people being taken off social media. I've had so many people who've contacted me and like, what do we do now? What do we do? It's like, go within. You have got to be able to know the voice of God and source inside of you to know what to do step by step by step, because you may not have a leader to show you what's going on and what to do for you. And what you do may be different than what I do. We're all doing different things, and we should be following that gut instinct of what is important for us moment to moment to moment. And that's been my entire training of helping people to connect with that source, so they know so everyone knows what to do. But going back to that, the 1984 thing, what's her name? The director was asked, why did she pick the 1984? Like, what was it? And she was talking about how, mainly she just did it because she wanted to kind of see like she was referring to belief systems, and what would happen if you put something from here to there and this system, and what villains would arise, and who would actually come to the forefront as a villain, and who would be exposed. I was just like, wow. I mean, it's a direct quote. I'll have to find it and I'll post it here. But I just thought that was interesting. I will say too that 341 is a really important number for me. And you're talking about different players with different roles. Some people say Pence is, just doing his job and this is what he's supposed to do. Other people are like, he's terrible and he's corrupt and a pedophile. And, I honestly, who knows and who knows about the clone stuff, whatever. The point is he's certified at 341. And when I saw 341, I was like, okay, no matter what, God is still in control. God who's in us, and there are ways that we just need to focus on, like Shemane, her thing is like happiness and going within, and we can have both. We can be at peace. I went to bed last night after 2 days of just what the hell, because we waited for January 6th. Maybe you didn't, but I did. And I was hoping for a good outcome. I was hoping that Pence would do the right thing, whether he's supposed to and told to do that for insurrection, whatever, that's to be disputed. But I just wanted it to be over. So I wanted him to do the right thing so we can all breathe and it just be over, right? Not looking at the long plan, but just the short plan, because I'm human and I just wanted him to be the good guy, and maybe he is, but I'm just saying, it didn't turn out that way. I felt like I got kicked in the stomach in a way, and it's like, okay, this is just whatever. And then the next day, all the stuff with social media, and so it was just a little bit even more, And so I kind of pulled back, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to look at anything. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to read anything. I want to know for me, inside of me, what is God saying? What is the truth? Like connecting with that. And I went to bed and I had a dream. And like I said, I've had five dreams now with Trump, and every one of them have come to pass. And this one, we were in a giant stadium type place, and he was coming down the aisle, the center of this aisle. And I was sitting to the right with my family and a lot of my friends. We were exactly middle of the place of the building. And Trump had come exactly middle of the aisle. So he was at a crossroads, exactly, literally in the center of a cross. And we were right to the right. And he actually stuck out his hand like to offer me to come join him in the middle, which has happened in several of the other things. And it's not about me. I'm just saying it's my role, what I need to do. It's my purpose. That doesn't mean anything. And I walked with him the rest of the aisle. Everyone was cheering. Everyone was happy. He looked great. He was upbeat. He was not defeated. And when it was over, I was outside of the building with my friends and my family. And I had said to them, thank God that I was where I was supposed to, when I was supposed to be. And I followed my gut instinct because I knew I was supposed to be here. I knew I was supposed to be here. That's what I kept saying. And I woke up like crying and really upset and like relieved. And also knowing that this is where we are, like we're in the middle. I felt like we're in the middle. It's not completely out. We have all this promise and there's great stuff, to come. And also we need to be still having that energy to cheer the whole thing on and to move and to walk with him through the entire deal of whatever that is for each of us, whether it's being digital soldier, prayer and fasting, keeping your insides cool and being at peace. Your version is your version. My version is mine. Maybe you have more pull to do, to get, whatever, but that's kind of where I was at. And then I've been hearing Philippians 4:6 over and over and over. And it's talking about keeping your place of peace, because peace is where you can connect with source. And if you're in chaos, you're not going to get a lot because you're in fight or flight, and it won't even allow like alignment to come in and through.
Yeah.
And when I looked, and then I thought, you know what, 46, interesting, because he would be the 46th president. And 45, I went back and said, be anxious for nothing is the quantum resource of that. And then the 46 goes into having the understanding, not just with the mind, but with the heart, of being in that connection of peace. Let peace be in the heart, and guard your heart and guard your mind. But so that's kind of, you know, where I'm at, is just not trying, but making a choice to do whatever I can to keep my peace, no matter what or who or whatever external, and to just be in a place of receiving whatever can come in, so I can be a vessel, a sharp vessel, you know, drinking green juice, staying out, go in the nature, you know, turning off whatever, and trying just not to freak out. But Shemane, please tell us where you're at.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And for those people who are on your page and new to me, I just want to take a second to share why I'm here and a little bit of my background. So my husband is Ted Nugent, and because of him, I've had the great opportunity to spend a little bit of time with President Trump at several of the rallies before he was first elected. And also, we were invited to the White House and spent about 3.5 hours with President Trump and having dinner with him. And I also have spent a little bit of time with Don Trump Jr. Ted and I serve on a board of directors called Hunter Nation with Don Jr. And my point in saying that is just that I have had the opportunity, you know, when you first meet somebody and you get the impression of what they're like, I think President Trump is us. I think we are him. And I think he is very down to earth. I know Don Jr. is very down to earth. And I have a master's degree in metaphysics. And I feel like I am in this position to, as Matthew 5:15 in the Bible talks about, being a light. You know, no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket. You put a light on a pedestal on a table so that it illuminates the room so that everyone can see. Not saying that I'm the light, just that, you know, for the past year, I have been very confused and at times even saddened about what has been going on. I really became awake about a year ago and found out about all of this. And then COVID happened and the pandemic and everything else. And I feel like this is my awakening. My awakening is sharing my heart and spirit with other people to help them wake up. And I believe that's why we are all here. Now, getting to what is going on right now. There was a movie years ago called Wag the Dog, which is, don't look at what I'm doing over here. Here's this hand is what I want you to look at. And I believe that's what has happened throughout the entire Trump presidency. If you're playing chess, you don't want to share your next move with your opponent. And I believe I'm holding my heart out for greater things to happen for this country. This is absolutely, unquestionably a great awakening. There is a lot going on spiritually. This is a spiritual war. And I would propose, I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but is this not World War III? This is the war of our generation, of our decade. We're fighting it spiritually. You're talking about an invisible evil force, COVID-19. There's no question that that's real. And it's biological germ warfare. Isn't this World War III? So getting back to, you know, what do we do? I talked about this yesterday on my Facebook and on my social media. I would like to encourage people to be selfish. And it's funny for me to say that because I'm an Enneagram type 2. I'm a giver. I've been teaching group fitness classes for 40 years, and I like helping people. But I realize it's like this, the flight attendants say, put the mask on yourself and then help everybody else. You can't do that if you are wound up in all of what's going on, whether it's whatever network or station or podcast, whatever you listen to, I'm glad people are watching this. Take it in, do your own research, and then turn it off. Get a routine nightly, morning, have a gratitude journal. Focus on the things that you have control of, not over the things that you don't have control of. Number one most important thing is to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Put in good food, good love, good attention, exercise, surround yourself with positive people, do the thing, find the thing that makes your heart sing and do it more often. I've been working out like crazy because I have been eating a little bit more, but it fills my soul. And who wants to go to the doctor nowadays? Nobody. You've got to take care of your health. You've got to protect your mind, body, and your spirit. And I thank you guys for having me on with you. I'm honored and grateful.
I agree. And
Okay, well, I would definitely say we're in a war. And I talk about that a lot.
WW
I think it's interesting. Juan O'Savin says we're in World War IV. He feels that World War III happened and is done. And that was maybe you might say, in essence, a hidden war. Okay, that's been going on. But, it doesn't really matter numbers of wars, right? So we're in a war, and it's been an ongoing war, of course. This is the version that we're living through, whereas older people lived through World War II. So there's very little difference, sadly. I'm just talking to somebody in France, and they're writing to me about how they're going around with mandatory vaccines, or trying to, and that a large portion of the French population aren't going for it. Not sure what's going to happen as a result of that, just more demonstrations and war in France. And they're very demonstrative, which is a wonderful thing about Paris and France in general. But in World War II, the wonderful thing about France was that they had an underground resistance that was active during the time of the Nazis, even though the Nazis rolled into Paris. So in essence, the Nazis have rolled into Washington, D.C. That's what we're seeing. And that's what we're going to be seeing, especially on the 20th, if that day actually comes the way they think it will. Now, what I was talking about before, having to do with the fact that they're calling for impeachment and they want to do it right before the 20th. That's why Trump is in Texas. He's guarded so that he cannot be arrested by the dark side and basically silenced. So I hope he stays in the underground base in Texas, where he's protected. It's very possible that Washington, D.C. is enemy territory right now. I'm sorry to, kind of use the terminology. So I just want to say that what's interesting is the opportunities to rethink the way you look at the world. And if you start to go back to World War II and realize that we have not defeated that enemy, that enemy came over here with paperclip.
Paperclip.
That enemy is still, sad to say, alive and well, performing satanic rituals, doing, Luciferian type exercises, and they have their networks all around the globe, and they are definitely reaching in to the lower levels and dealing, and being orchestrated by and influenced by the reptilians, okay, and the Draco and the Greys that serve them. So that doesn't mean it doesn't even mean all Draco, and it doesn't even mean all reptilians, and it doesn't mean all Greys, okay? So there's lots of races of beings and many mixtures of races. So, and even the humans have a reptilian portion to what they call our brain. And we have been, genetically re-engineered over history through the millennia. And so that some of us are more reptilian than others. And this is where we get the split going on. So it's important to understand that you're in a sense, you're dealing with alien races, even though they don't tell you that, okay? Even though they won't talk about it. And part of the reason there's a mystery to all of it, the beings that are calling themselves, Democrats or Democrats, they, at this point, it used to be a good thing to be a Democrat. That used to mean that you were permissive during the 60s and you were interested in love and peace and things like that. That has changed, but those people, I even know people like this, that they never got the memo. They didn't realize that the so-called party system changed. Now there are dark people on both sides and there are light people on both sides. So don't get me wrong, but the general platform, we're talking about the platform that they kind of run under, and the fact that they haven't realized, they can't see. So this also has everything to do with your ability to see, perception. Can you actually see beyond the facade when somebody acts a certain way as to whether they're a good being or a negative being, negatively influenced, negatively, aiming and targeted and everything else at a very negative sort of source. So they're motivated by dark emotions. They're motivated by people who don't want to follow the light, who purposely have chosen a dark path. It doesn't mean we can get rid of them. You can't kill them all. Okay, this is also an important thing to realize. You don't have to love them to death, but you can't kill them either. So it's understanding that we have to deal with these various races that have these proclivities that we consider to be evil, like killing and eating children, like, moving slaves, on and off planet. This slavery, human slavery, has also been an undercurrent on our planet for eons. Okay. And I'm sorry to say this, but there are some cultures where child rape is part of their culture. It's important to realize that this is humanity waking up as a whole, and they're all waking up at different kind of levels.
Yeah.
So I think it really helps if we widen our perspective, understand that some of us are in one place while others are in a completely different place. And not to say that you can't walk away. See, we can't walk away, right? We're all on the earth together. We're here together. We have to deal with this. And I even talk to people that are quite well aware, and they have no idea that Trump has to negotiate with the dark side. This is a negotiation, whether you know it or not, and whether you want to admit it or not, because the reality is we cannot, just like in The Godfather, we can't have mutually assured destruction. Meaning, if you keep killing each other's people, then pretty soon no one's left. Okay, so that's not a solution. So
well, they're trying to put us against each other. And that's where we have to go within and focus on what it is that is most important in our lives. And that's God and family and taking care of ourselves, because, we can't control some of these things. Even though there are some people who are saying, this is what's going to happen or that's going to happen. I think the truth is that none of us really knows for sure. So what can you do? You can focus on the here and now, meditate, pray, fill your body with good food, and surround yourself with good people, and focus on those things that you can control.
Yep, that's what I've been saying for quite a while too, being response able, because you can get crazy trying to figure out like what could happen, but in the end, will is what's at hand. Is every individual has their own will and their own choices, and we can't control, although that's what they want to do with us. Yeah. Ultimately everyone gets a choice. And when I started working with a lot of this frequency stuff, what I found out is your will is 400,000 times stronger than even your spirit. You can override just with your choices. And so one of the things I wanted to share too is I saw a clip of Donald Trump. I don't know the date. I wish I did. And I put the video on my page, but it's him talking about loyalty and his really strong connection and love for loyalty. And he actually says on the video, he's talking about how he said, this is a quote, "Someday I'd like to lose everything, maybe for a period of time, to see who is loyal and who isn't." And I was just like, oh my God, well, this is your day. Because, you know, if he let all of this happen just to see like who's really with him and who isn't, and who to get rid of in the new transition, you know, of power or wherever we're going. You know, he talked about his first term. You don't say first term if you know you're going to have a second term. And this truly could be the last president, just like the books talk about.
Well, actually, what Trump's going to do is turn the presidency over to a military and a group, to a group, so that we will be governed by a group. Is I've heard and intuitively resonates. That's what's really going to happen. A lot of people think Trump is like power hungry. It's actually the opposite. He actually would love to give the reins to someone else, but he is holding his place because he is the leader and he has the resonance around him to be able to lead at this time, which is very crucial when people want to focus on one person. But we are moving into, look, Trump has always been a team player with the team that hired him. Understand that. So it's not just Trump. You know, he's a wonderful leader and very inspiring. And I just want to share my screen really quickly, if this even allows me. Oh, you disabled participant screen sharing, so we can't do that. Oh, okay, well, it would be nice to show a couple pictures. But anyway, so just want to say, look, Pence.
Here, I can change it. Multiple participants can share. You can share.
Okay, while you do that, I just want to say about Pence. Look, I got a hit on Pence from the day he was brought forward, wondering what the hell are they bringing this guy on for? Obviously, that was a negotiation point with the dark side. Look, Trump is all about keeping your enemies closer.
Yeah.
That saying, so he could watch them, so that he could, you know, have the infiltrators in-house, literally, and orchestrating themselves in that milieu. If you can imagine, you really have to have it together to be able to allow infiltrators in, to watch them at the same time and allow them a certain amount of rope, but not much. And Trump said in his speech right before the, you know, the actual, it might have been on the day, I think it was on the day of the Capitol, you know, everyone at the Capitol, he literally said, if you listen to his words, he always gives you hints at what's going to come, what he already knows. And so knowing that the people were going to get into the Capitol, knowing that the outcome would be Pence would be shown to be the traitor he is. He's always been a traitor. You know, if you haven't seen that, you know, I don't know what to tell you. And this again has to do with perception, being understanding. When you look at somebody, you get a hit. Okay. And the better you can sort of finesse that intuitive ability nowadays, that could be the difference between life and death. If you can't look at a person and determine right then and there how much you should trust them or whether you should trust them at all, this could actually change your life, you know, for a positive or a negative, let's say. So the bottom line is Pence was always an infiltrator. He is a traitor. Okay. Now, when Trump said, look, I hope that Pence does the right thing, I really am going to be disappointed. He said it twice. I really am going to be disappointed. And then he said, but I've been hearing some dark things. And then he went on to another subject. So if you don't pay attention closely, you didn't know that he already knew what Pence was going to do. Okay. He was telegraphing that out to the people that are bothered to listen. So, you know, there are some people out there right now saying, oh, you know, Trump didn't know what was going to happen. And he didn't, you know, there were Marines involved with the people that got into the Capitol. They were in disguise. Okay. This is stuff that that is starting to come out. But even now, there are people out there that don't know. Now, they're trying to arrest Trump for inciting the riot. Actually, the riot was planned by Antifa. It's just that the Trump side knew this was a plan, okay, because they are infiltrating Antifa. They are infiltrating these things. That's why we had Nashville. Nashville was started by the dark side. Trump became aware of it. They infiltrated it, took it over, and basically did a hit on the building, warned all the people to get away so people wouldn't die. You have to sort of see that this is how the sort of action is happening. When you see one thing going on, it's very likely that the other side is aware of it and coming in with what they're going to come in with, So it's a game being played right in front of your face very quickly, like lots of quick moves. And there are more moves, obviously, in hand. So just want to say that people are missing this. Yes, I agree, go within. But I would also say that there are those of us who have already got that down. We have gone within, we get it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to replenish yourself along the way. We're all fighters, we're all warriors. But in the end, we are doing what we can when we come forward, like in this way, testifying to each other, to mirror the light for each other. This is part of our duty, and you could do it just for your friends and family. It doesn't have to be on, YouTube or whatever. So this is, how you fight the fight can be a very secret thing. Maybe if you think of, again, I go back to Nazi Germany and I see, the French resistors, and I see the secret networks that they set up, what you might call it, rat lines or whatever, to basically move people that had to be moved into safe places. This is the kind of thing that you're going to have to be thinking along these lines for the future. And let me just say really quickly, and then I'll turn this over to everyone here. But I did have a dream just like a couple nights ago. I was at a party and we were celebrating. So, I mean, and it was me and people I know, like Paladin, and I'm not going to name the other names, but people who know Paladin is a white hat and so on. So in other words, there was something to celebrate. All right. And a lot of my dreams do come true. So, now I can share my screen. I'm just going to end with this picture because, let me see, hold on one second. All right. You probably saw this. I mean, it is making the rounds. I hope I can do this right. So, wait, this is not right. And by the way, there's a lot of astrological things. If either of you are into astrology, there's a lot of astrological things that you can, sorry about this. Okay, that didn't work like that. And if you just want to go ahead, I'm just going to put a picture on here, but go ahead.
Oh.
So just want to say this is lovely. And I don't know, this gave me a really good feeling. So this picture, so I just thought I'd put it up there.
Was that from today?
I don't know. This was just sent to me. I get, like I say, I get intel all night and all day. I don't know the actual date. I got what you see is what I see, so this is how it was sent to me. I just thought it was sort of heartwarming. And so that's all.
Well, I know that Shemane has to go and I have another interview too.
Okay.
And I love you both so much. And I was going to end with something that from Ronald Reagan, where I don't know if you guys follow Jim Caviezel or if you've seen his
Yes.
speech. I mean, I cried.
Have you seen the latest movie he did with Dinesh?
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, you got to watch it with Dinesh D'Souza.
Is it about the tunnels and all that, the children?
It's about it's called Infidel.
No, I haven't seen that.
Dinesh D'Souza
I saw
produced
the
it.
trailer thing, but I haven't actually.
We'll look for it.
Yeah, look for it. And you know what, before you go, before we all go, I just wanted to say I had a dream too.
Tell me.
But I don't want it to come true. But I think I'm getting a message through that. My dream was that I was running for political office. I don't want to do that.
I want that to happen.
But here's my message.
It's nice to
What-
know that there might be a political office to run for in the future because things are looking pretty dim.
Yes. Well, my point is what has been going on has prevented a lot of good people from getting into politics and running for public office and for serving us. It's estimated that over 70% of politicians are compromised. So we need good people to get into politics and to serve us if we have that option. So I just wanted to put that out there. But thank you guys so much for having me. And I appreciate it. And I look forward to great things happening in the future, the near future.
Yes, Wanu Savin actually talked about like having a shortage of good guys. So I hope that if you feel like you're supposed to do that, that you will run. And I do appreciate both of you. And I will be on Shemane's show on Monday with David Rodriguez. Kerry, you know David very well too. I just want to end with this. I'm going to read this to you if you guys don't mind. You have like 2 more seconds for me to read from the Jim Caviezel thing. So this is what he says is, what do we say to our brothers and sisters caught beyond the Iron Curtain? Give up your freedom now in order to save our own skins? Well, while we're trying to make a deal with your slave masters, do you and I have the courage to say there is no price we will not pay? There is no point in which evil must not advance. Evil is powerless if the good are not afraid. Well, you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. You and I preserve for our children this last best hope of man and earth. We'll either sentence them to this or step into 1,000 years of darkness. We are at war with the most dangerous enemy that we've ever faced with mankind. And it's a long climb from the swamps to the stars. And it's been said, if we lose this war, and in so doing losing this great freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those that had the most to lose did the least to prevent it from happening. Well, I think it's high time that we ask ourselves that if we still even know the freedoms that were intended to us, for us by our founding fathers. But every generation of American needs to know that freedom does exist. Not to do what you like, but having the right to do what you ought. And that is the freedom that I wish for you, that you would set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation, that you would be saints, because you are not made to fit in. You are meant to stand out. God bless you.
That's beautiful.
God.
Well, I've seen the future and I can tell you that this fight goes on. So this is not ever going to be the end.
Well, everybody hang in there.
Yep.
Go inward, get some rest, be selfish, get out in nature, see what God is telling you, and then take those opportunities to stand up when you are given those opportunities to stand up, to stay, to love, and to be well, and to do well, and to do what's right. This is so important. This is for our entire future, and we can actually be the tipping point. We don't have to just take it, and we don't have to just allow this to happen. We get the choice, but it's going to take all of us individually and corporately, collectively. And so sorry to get emotional every time, but love you guys.
It's beautiful.
Talk soon.
All right. Love you too. God bless. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.